Sheldon Keefe speaks out about the team response to the Timothy Liljegren injury in Boston the other night, as well as we have a couple injury updates on some Leafs defensemen, and we'll talk about some guys that they brought up to fill the roles of these guys that are out. I'll break all this down for you coming up on this episode of Hat Trick HQ. But before we get into that, we just want to say, if you're one of the thousands of people watching that aren't subscribed, make sure to go down below, hit that subscribe button, become a part of the community here, because we'll be here all season long. Keep me up to date on what's happening around the league and what's happening with the Leafs. But with that said, let's get right into the first topic of the video today, and that is Timmins and McCabe's injury updates. And as we see from a tweet from David Alter here, Connor Timmins has been out with a lower body injury, and Jake McCabe has been out with a groin injury. And they continue to skate with return to play, but Timmins is still a ways away from a return, and McCabe was unlikely to return this weekend. I think McCabe is probably a bit closer to returning than Timmins right now. I believe he was in practice a little bit, but he's just still not feeling it, still not up to it right now, still day to day. But Timmins is still on the IR, still a ways away to return, which it sucks to hear if you're a Toronto Maple Leafs fan, because you really do need both of these defensemen to come back and really fill in these roles of injuries that are happening right now. I know we do have some guys stepping up from the AHL to kind of fill these roles, but these guys are NHL ready. So are the guys in the AHL, but these guys have been proven to be great defenders in the NHL over their careers. Timmins had a great preseason, was looking to maybe crack that top six defensive pairing, but he didn't get a chance. He went out with an injury in the preseason and still ways away from to return. So we really hope to see him back soon, because he was lighting it up in the preseason. So we just like to see what he could do here in Toronto in the regular season. And with Jake McCabe too, this is a guy who you need on your team. He's a great defensive defender, a guy who blocks the shots, a guy who takes the hits. And without him, you still do have guys that are going to step up and do these things. But this is a guy who goes out there, puts his body on the line night to night for your team, and you really want him back in the lineup. So we really hope these guys both have successful recoveries, and we get to see him back in a Leafs uniform soon, because we could really use these guys right now. And it's just, the defensive injuries have really riddled Toronto this year, and we really hope to see these guys have a quick recovery and get back in, see what they're made of for the rest of this regular season. But with that said, we're going to talk about the AHL call-ups that were called up today for the Liljegren injury when he went on the IR, long-term IR. We'll take a look at them now. It was Simon Benoit, a guy who we've talked about here a lot on the channel, and Max Lajoie. Called up from the Leafs. They can carry 22 players, including McCabe. And obviously, with Liljegren going down with that injury the other night in Boston, he was placed on the long-term IR today. That is the update we have. So they really did have to call these guys up, because, like we just discussed, Timmins is out and McCabe is out as well. So these are three of your top six defensemen that are out right now, and you really need these guys to step up and fill these roles. But when you look at a guy like Simon Benoit, I've been really vocal on this channel about how much I love his game. I really want to see him get out there in the regular season. A guy who played a lot of minutes last year in Anaheim. He's one of those defenders. Kind of, if you want to compare him to somebody on the Leafs right now, you could compare him to a guy like Jake McCabe. He goes out there, gets those block shots, gets those hits, but he's also a great outlet passer as well. He might not be the best skater, but he is out there and he does his job. He's the guy who's going to lay his body on the line with blocks. He's going to go out there. He's going to hit the guys. He's just a great defenseman, a guy who Toronto could really use right now. And I really hope we get to see him in the lineup very soon, because I'm really excited to see what this guy can do. I really loved his game last year in Anaheim, so I hope he can transfer that over to the Leafs this year. But when we look at a guy like Lajoie, he's kind of the same player as Benoit. He does average a lot of block shots. I believe in 50 games in his first year in NHL back in 18-19, he had 80-plus blocks. So this is another guy who's going to go out there. He's going to lay it down. He's going to take a knee. He's going to be trying to block all these shots, whether it's on the penalty kill, whether it's just on 5-on-5. I think this is a great guy. This is a guy we've seen in preseason as well. Had a really good preseason. A guy who I predicted to maybe be called up this year, and we are seeing that now. I believe he is playing in the game today, so we'll have to see how his performance is. We'll let you know what we think about it all. I think this is a guy, these two guys are what Toronto needs right now. They do have a guy like John Klingberg, a guy like Morgan Riley, that are the offensively gifted defensemen, and now they have these kind of gritty defenders, defensive defensemen coming up, like Simon Benoit and Max Lajoie. So I'm really excited to see what these guys can do and see them get the opportunity. But as we always hope, we hope these guys a successful recovery. I know Liljegren's injury looked really bad the other night, so we really hope he has a speedy recovery as well, and hopefully he's not gone for the rest of the year, because this is a guy I really like, a really good young defender, and I really do think that these guys will have successful recoveries, and hopefully we'll see him back before the end of the season. But I'm going to get into the next topic of the video here now, and that is Sheldon Keefe speaks out. And as we see in this quote here, the other night, like we talked, Timothy Liljegren went down with that injury to Brad Marchand. A pretty dirty play, in my opinion. He kind of lifted his foot up, drove it into the boards, and it was just a bad play. It just really sucked to see. It didn't really seem like there was much intent to it. Just they were going into a puck battle, and his twig got caught up between his legs. It's just the way hockey goes. It's a fast game, and his foot did get driven to the boards. And like we just seen, he's on long-term IR right now. So we really hope him a speedy recovery. But Sheldon Keefe spoke out about the team's response to this injury. I'm going to bring it up on the screen right now. He was unhappy with the club's lack of response to Marchand's trip to Liljegren. He says, who will be out of action for a minimum of 10 games and 24 days with a high ankle sprain. But the Leafs head coach disagreed with Reeves' assertion that any change advantage had anything to do with it. As we seen earlier in this article, I didn't include it, but Reeves did say that due to the line changes and stuff, he wasn't out on the ice with Marchand at any time during the game to kind of go over and get something started with him about this injury. So I think if they both were out on the ice at the same time, I think Reeves really would have done something here, really would have picked up for his teammate. But this is what Keefe had to say. He says, it's less about Brad Marchand doesn't care about Ryan Reeves or anybody else in the league. It's more about the team response. There are a lot of players wearing Bruins colors that we can make life harder on them. It's more about an uplifting our team. And he also goes on to say here, another quote, he talks about, while a pushback from the rest of the club was expected from the Maple Leafs, Reeves in particular is supposed to bring that enforcer intimidation presence. And he says here, we talked about it and addressed it in the room, and it'll be changed going forward. And, this is what you want to hear. Obviously, we've seen a lot of comments on yesterday's video saying, I don't know why these guys didn't step up, why they didn't, step up for their teammate in that situation. But we did see a quote from Ryan Reeves here saying that in real time, it looked really fast. It didn't look like anything dirty, so that's why he doesn't think anybody stepped up there. He thought maybe Liljegren maybe blew a tire, went into the boards hard, because we do see that a lot in the NHL. But then he said when you look at the slow motion replay, you could really see that he got his stick in there and lifted it up. And like I said earlier, Reeves and Marchand weren't on the ice at any time during the game the other night, so he couldn't go after it. But like Sheldon Keefe says here, you want your team to kind of pick up for your guys when they go down. And it's just got to be that way. It's just the way hockey is. It's just the way it was designed when it was invented. There's a team culture, a big team culture around hockey. And when one of your players go down, someone has to step up and either get in a fight or whatever it may be. But maybe it seems to me in real time that the players didn't really see what happened to Liljegren, and they didn't think it needed a response. But like we see here, Sheldon Keefe says it'll be changed going forward. So if something like this does happen again, I really do think that we'll see guys maybe step up, maybe take a fight, maybe throw a big body, get in a scrum. I really do think that was needed. Unfortunately, like we said, Ryan Reeves wasn't out on the ice, so it's hard to say what could have happened, because he's supposed to be the guy to do that for Toronto. That's what he was brought in for this offseason, and unfortunately, he has done it so far this season, but unfortunately, he wasn't out on the ice at that time, so we didn't get to see that from him. But I really do think we see a lot of guys here on Toronto who can step up and take a fight and all this at the same time. I seen John Klingberg maybe dumped Brad Marchand in the corner after that hit, and they seen the replay and stuff. They tried to get something going with him, but Marchand wouldn't budge. So it's kind of hard to see what these things are going to do in real time. You never know what's going to happen in a game of hockey, and unfortunately the other night a Toronto player went down and nothing was done about it. And it's just great to see here from Sheldon Keefe that he talked about it with his team and said, hey guys, we cannot let this slip anymore, and we gotta go out there and if it means putting your body on the line, you got to go out there, drop the gloves with a guy that's injuring one of your teammates. It's great to see that he's picking up for Liljegren in this situation and telling his team, if this ever happens again, you guys got to step up and just go for the fight. So hopefully we'll see this change going forward, because I did see a lot of you guys down in the comment section really disgusted about this situation, and hopefully we never get to see this again, because we never want to see anybody going down with injury and stuff like this. But we'll have to see what happens going forward here in Toronto, and we'll keep you up to date on all this stuff, on the injury stuff, and if anything else more comes out about this injury. But we're going to get into everybody's favorite topic here, and that is comment of the day. And the comment of the day today goes to RB. He says, great video. Keep up the good work. Shout out to you, RB. See you down in the comment section all the time. Thanks for supporting the videos. I really appreciate it. I put a lot of time and effort into this, so really appreciate seeing all the support. And if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to go down below, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We're trying to hit 2,000 subscribers, and we really appreciate it if you guys went down and hit that subscribe button. Also, if you enjoyed the Leafs, make sure to check this video that's popping up on your screen right now. But I've been KC. Keep your stick on the ice.